Welcome to our favorite game music from 2016. This is Thoroughfare Hike from Firewatch, my personal choice. But we're going to be starting off our top 20/21 with something from Metal Gear Solid 5. This is called Sins of the Father. Thank you, Firewatch.
Deepest night, reaching out, grasping for a fleeting memory. All the thoughts keep piercing this broken mind. I fall, but I'm still standing, motionless. Distance, there is light, a light that burns these scars of old. All this pain reminds me of what I am. I'll live, I'll become all I need to be.
Yeah, I wasn't really a fan of the beginning of it. I didn't really like her tone in terms of like lyrically expressing, but when it builds and builds and builds and that big whoa, I mean, you could really do anything else. The rest of the song could just be farting into a bad microphone with a bad fart, but that boom whoa is so good. And then the part after that first whoa kind of feels like they're going back to that Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater James Bond homage. Just doing it again. I think it fits the series pretty well. I don't know if they totally know where to go in terms of like when this game takes place. Like when I hear this, I don't think of the 80s. I think of it. I don't think of the world that the characters are in. I think of more of it being the 2016 song. So it makes the game feel a bit more like it's a movie based in the time with a current soundtrack as opposed to as opposed to like evoking that era, like the way the Snake Eater theme did. But like Leonard is saying, the whole rest of But yeah, like Lena was saying, I mean, they have the Phantom Pain song, they have the David Bowie cover, Man Who Sold the World, and every other tape you find is like such an 80s tape. So, and around that time, there's a lot of 80s nostalgia going on. Like Stranger Things, I think, came out around then. This is actually really one of my favorite years of the whole generation for games. Yeah, it really does. The auto-tune as well. That's a good point. Okay, next up is the Let It Die soundtrack. Let It Die by Nothing. Let It Die, Let It Die. I don't know. Skip it. It sounds like a Niccolo song. Prince. Ba-da-da-da-da. Wow. That's actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. That's got a real kind of 2008 sort of like post-rock, punk, thrasher kind of, not like super annoying emotional emo. And hey, is that Cookie Angry Little Pie? Good to see you. Sort of like Thrice. Thrice had a good album called Visu, I think it's called. And it has a lot of tracks like this. Yeah, and Billy Talent has a lot of stuff like this too. It's pretty fun. This is actually like probably the last time I listened to the radio was when music like this was on. I could never even guess what the game would be. But this is a fun track. I don't know. I can't imagine hearing this in a game. But it was really fun to listen to, just on its own. Nice one, Prince. All right, Prince always brings in the wild cards. Next up, something called Doomsday. Oh, from Stellaris. So I think I'm going to fade this out because Stellaris is a space strategy game. So I'm assuming that it's going to be a lot slower and a lot softer. But the track is called Doomsday. So, whoa, Shift N is next. Cool. Whoa. Oh yeah, heavy synth bass. I like it. That was really nice. I kind of expected from its beginning that it was going to build into something a little bit more, but I think this is probably as much as you could probably take for something that's like a deep strategy game, right? So you're spending a lot of time thinking about your moves, a lot of micromanaging, a lot of clicking, moving around, that kind of thing. It's pretty up there. I mean, to contrast it, I'll play you a track from the Masters of Orion 2. Masters of Orion is credited with creating this genre. I don't know if they did, but the first one at least was the biggest one in terms of that 4X style in space. Now here's the one of the main themes. Let's see, main galactic theme 3. This is what I was expecting. So no percussion, just synths that kind of breathe the beat. Very slow, long breaths with an effect kind of pushing it all the way to the end of that breath and then back. Things kind of dripping all around it. But yeah, the Stellaris one was definitely more of like you said, Tron. Very steady very steady percussion. All the notes are being played in a rhythm. Oh, Stellaris is real time? That might have something to do with the difference then. Keeping that pulse on you. Alright, next up, Final Fantasy 15. Again, Yoko Shimomura. Somnus. Has this already been on our list before? If so, that's fine. Oh yeah. That's a good start.
Deus dormit et liberium faciunt numquam extingunt nex perdici omnia dividit tragedia caram amandam et nocte perpetua in desperatione auroram videremus manem tempus extergiscendi.
That might have been the whatchamacallit. Might have been the stream audio. I will, let's see here. Lower the gain. And we keep the limiter on. Hopefully it'll stop any kind of distortion. Yeah, that was beautiful. I mean, the way that the when that piano really gets going and the way it's kind of like tumbling all over itself and kind of fighting with itself. So much conflict, so much drama and emotion. Sometimes I find like the real piano heavy stuff can be a bit kind of flat and a little bit empty when you're used to hearing so many different instruments and styles and such a good fusion. But I think this is probably one of the best highlights of what she can do with just piano. I mean, the music and everything is there to provide that kind of contrast. The strings kind of a lot of descending notes. But the piano is the real star. It's fantastic. Alright, next up is going to be Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Sharp FE. I think that might be a Japanese game. Oh god, here we go. It's nice. That type of chord progression, that sort of like counterpoint that is constantly descending in on itself and hitting those like susses, like really pulling you against resolving, and sort of like the synth sounds and riffs. This is everything I like about the band Muse and the classical composer Rachmaninoff. I mean, he didn't have awesome synths at the time, but I'm sure he would have made them sound really good. This is nice. Groove wave. That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good way to call it. This is really nice. I love this. I was really surprised, but when I saw Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Sharp FE, when I see that kind of name, I know that it has something to do. It's like made by Atlas. It's made by the people who make Persona. This is fantastic. That's real nice. All right, next up, Yakuza 6, Song of Life, Destiny. Dope beats. Guys ready for some dope beats? Dope beats. Yeah, I think that would be probably a good piece for like an opening montage or, just to like play over a bunch of sort of like cinematic drama and action. I like the sound of the violin in the track and sort of the more electronic, modern sounds. It's like pretty creative, mixed in with sort of that almost like similar guitar to what we were hearing in that first one, that kind of like 2008 sort of post-rock, punk rock kind of thing. It's one of the end game boss fights. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I'm not in love with it, but I think it would do the job pretty well. Next up, The Adventures of Mana, Endless Battlefield. Another Mana game. Pretty great track. You can still hear how good it is on the original Game Boy. Nice track. It's got a lot of oomph to it. The Game Boy had a really nice sound chip. I mean, it kind of took what the NES was doing, but gave it a lot more tonal colors and just a lot more to work with. It's such a beautiful melody, and to hear it so pure on like a really kind of simple, not introducing a lot of different instruments. And oh man, this is such a wonderful composition. Oof. Powered by 2 AA batteries. Wow. All right. That was beautiful. Next up, Dark Souls 3. Not a lot of music in a Dark Souls game. I don't know what this is from. What part of the game? Sounds like a boss theme. Oh yeah, they hop up on each other. Yeah, this was a super fun boss battle. Looks like it took me the whole stream to beat it. Like an hour and 45 minutes. It was such a simple dodging system, eh? It was like, just press dodge when they attack you. Sometimes you need to dodge to the left or the right, but you can roll through. But then it was also depending on like your abilities and how you equipped your character, whether that roll would work or not. Looks like my guy's disappearing when I roll. Yeah, probably still figuring out white balance. What a red-faced boy. Ooh, oh. Back in the anti-Lena days. Lord of Cinder has fallen. Look, Mexican. What do I look like I'm from now? Mongolia. Nice track. I mean, you don't get a lot of music in Dark Souls. It's usually like very ambient or super epic, but still has a lot of personality. I mean, a fantastic track that sounds like it's from Dark Souls. Adds so much to just the simple act of diving around and hacking and whacking and dodging. All right, next up, Doom. Pretty unexpected, but very, very fitting soundtrack for the big reboot on Doom. Getting away from Doom 3, trying to copy everybody, making these like sort of scary games, and just going back to what it was. You being the scary one. Oh yeah. Wow. Really impressive. What an impressive video, too. I feel like he's... Well, I was reading some stuff about him, and like the way that he constructs a lot of sounds is very, very creative. And it's not just sort of like generated by a computer. It's very intentional what he's doing and creative. And the way he's like deconstructing things and then putting it back together is pretty genius. And like, what a special thing. And like, how fitting that it was in Doom. And I think it was really nice that it was in a game that had a long history, and this was also like such a celebrated return for it, so that it didn't get sort of easily looked over. I mean, on this show we've heard so much killer music that is buried in games we've never even heard of. So it's really nice that Doom and this soundtrack and this composer were able to come together and create something. It's like such an event. All right, well, that was a pretty amazing. I don't know how you follow that up there, DJ Lenot, with Paper Mario. Paper Mario trying to sound like Doom. It's a pretty fun track, pretty interesting. There's so many little riffs all over the place. I'm sure this will sound really good in headphones, actually. I bet you like the spatial differences on it. Right now I have my two big speakers that sound great and have a lot of bass and stuff, but are really close together. So I think some stereo separation would probably sound pretty hilarious with this. Super quirky, super interesting. Now we hear that it's just going to a totally different place in its key center, but I mean, most of the Paper Mario stuff is no surprise that it's very inventive and very interesting and very mature, and not easy to make music like this. There's so much little bits of shredding going on that just doesn't even have time for you to be impressed by, because it's off to the next thing. Nuts. Paper Mario Color Splash. More rockin' than Doom? No. Next up, the Deadly Tower of Monsters soundtrack. Interesting track. Yeah, it's got that sort of I thought PS2, like a PS2 licensed game, sort of like a cinematic but fun, kind of campy, almost like a 1950s sort of like, as you can see from the imagery of the game in the trailer, it's like, well, very movie-like. This guy has a director's hat on, and he's got a camera in the background, and then you've got this sort of like the props, the sort of technology that they're using. His like jetpack and that big fishbowl in his head is very sort of 1950s sci-fi. So there's almost has like a Tim Burton, sort of like a Tim Burton feel to it. And then the way after this part here, that really does have that feel of like you're going one level higher, one level higher, one level higher. Is that like a King Kong with a space helmet flying off, falling to his doom? Wow, a lot going on in this game. Alright, that's a very interesting track. That's a good little palate cleanser. Alright, next up is going to be from World of Final Fantasy. It is called Innocent. Ah, so innocent. Ooh. Who did this one?
しみはいつだってすぐそばにある夜をかけてく星をご覧君の大事なものを教えて僕らの目にも映るかなたとえ傷ついても君は手を離さない胸の痛みを知ってるからたとえ幾千の夜が僕らを隠してもほら未来へのルート覚えてる新しい旅のように身が
That was pretty nice. Well, I mean, when I heard the lyrics, I thought, oh god, here we go. A whole lot of Kimi no Garu. But very typically, happy memories are brief as a candle, like the stars in the night, burning hot and bright and blinking away. Melancholia can't be shaken off, it hangs like a shadow there, like the dark between the stars when they're lost to the grave. Those are the lyrics of the song.
たとえ傷つ
Key change! We gotta have a key change in the end. That's pretty nice. That was a lot better than I was expecting. Alright. Hey, we're at the halfway point. I'm gonna show you something that I got yesterday. Me and Stella went on a big trip. Wow. We drove an hour and a half to this quaint little town, and I thought, quaint little town? It's never anything for me. It's gonna be stuff for Stella. But we stopped at this vintage store. This woman's got tons of stuff. She's got like kind of junk in the backyard. And I go, what's that thing over there? God, it's so heavy. So this is a vintage Sony stereo amp that she didn't even have time to test, so she gave it to me for $20. She goes, looks like it turns on, but she didn't want to plug any speakers in, so she just gave it to me for $20. They're so beautiful, eh? I love them. But when she plugged it in, I saw that some of the needles were moving, and then on the back she goes, hang on a second, Blaze Blue, cool your poops. She goes, oh yeah, there's a handle there, if you want to grab it. I go, no, that's not the handle, it's an AM antenna. Don't pull on that. And then, so I have something similar. I have one called a Fisher, which was made in Japan. It's like a great vintage stereo amp, which is powering the music I'm listening to today. Then I'm looking around at her headphones. I haven't tested it out yet, but I think it will. And the thing with these guys is like, you can fix them quite easily, you know. There's just like a little, if something doesn't work, you just replace a part. It's rarely dead. Then these awesome old headphones. She gave these to me for free because the ending was kind of broken. So they're sort of like, they're kind of like military green. They're called Pro 4AA Costs. Yeah, they're very vintage headphones. I guess that's a volume knob or something. They're heavy. But I think they'll be pretty good. Yeah, it's just about finding the parts. But also, like, fixing stereos is it's become a lot more popular, I think, in the last little while. And it's easier to order everything off the internet. I don't know if they're going to work, but they probably will if I just replace the jack. She gave these to me for free because the point was missing. She goes, I'll throw those in the garbage. Now, also as a part of our little break here, I wanted to look at some of the games that were coming out in 2016. I mean, would you look at this? 2016 video games. Overwatch. What a big year for that. For Blizzard, and like, just what an amazing title that was. Really, I felt like at one point everybody was playing it. it was so satisfying. Like reloading your gun was satisfying. There were so many different ways to play. What I like about Splatoon is that if I'm not having a good day of aiming, I can just have a roller. And in Overwatch, you could be I could be Lucio and just be around people and healing them, or Mercy, where you just kind of are pointing towards somebody, and you can heal them. Uncharted 4, what a great way to end that series off. It was so mature, the writing in it. I mean, the biggest climax of the game was not like a villain coming and trying to kill you. It was your wife catching you and you lying and going and doing some rowdy stuff with your brother. And then your brother trying to be like, don't worry about it. Come on, man. And Drake being like, do I want to end up like you? Dark Souls 3, another sort of nice end to the Dark Souls series. It was a bit of a rehash, but also a really nice version of it. And I think like as good as Dark Souls, as revolutionary as Dark Souls and Demon Souls were, when I was playing Dark Souls, it felt like every level I was on, somebody said, oh, this is the bad part. It gets way better. So I think it was nice for Dark Souls 3 to kind of pull it all together inside one of what I think is one of the greatest video games ever made. In terms of it's polish, what it looks like, how it feels. Firewatch, one of my favorite narrative games of all time, and one of the few games me and Lena agree on. Dishonored 2, what a great version of those kind of games. Like, Dishonored started it, Prey is a good version of it too, but Dishonored 2, just the powers are so fun. Doom, huge year for Doom. And for the Nintendo Switch, for it to come out on the Switch and run okay. The Witness, one of the best puzzle games ever. It's like taking puzzle games to a whole new level. The Last Guardian actually came out after 10 years. Hitman was huge. Totally reignited Hitman. Like No Man's Sky. Took a lot of flack, of course, but still what it did was impressive. It's just too bad it was hyped. I don't know anything about driving games. Titanfall 2, what an incredible campaign. And just so criminally overlooked. Final Fantasy 15, good little game. Good, huge game. XCOM 2. Wow. Took that reboot of XCOM and made it even better. Dragon Quest Builders, I've heard so much good stuff about this game. What else we got here? Civ 6, sure, another Civ game. I think this is one of the weakest Deus Ex games, personally. The year of Pokemon Go. That was mental. Remember that summer? Everybody was playing it. I had Stella's girlfriends who didn't know anything about, Stardew Valley? Super hot. Oh. This was a really funny E3 trailer because at first I thought, is this like a Mass Effect game? Is this some serious kind of sci-fi? And then you see people getting brutally murdered and you realize, oh, this is Call of Duty. It's so different than any other game, the way people just get shot and murdered. And then like the start of VR too with the Drift. Darkest Dungeon. Thumper was super unique rhythm game. Some good music in that too. No, The Witcher 3 came out, or is that the DLC? That's probably Blood and Wine. I think Witcher was 2015. What a good year. Oh, Battleborn trying to battle its way with Overwatch, Mafia 3, Street Fighter 5. Watch Dogs 2, which was actually a pretty good Watch Dogs game. Especially compared to like how bland, and the Banner Saga 2. Come on. That's one of the best years of gaming ever. In terms of like, not just sequels and stuff, but really cool new ideas. Like super hot reinventions of older franchises. So, all right, let's check out BlazBlue. This is a fighting game called... What's this game called? Oh, what's the song called? True Blue? Yeah, this is definitely like a nice pump up, energetic kind of song, but definitely a fairly generic. I mean, you've just heard so many songs like this, with where the key changes are, the style. It's solid, but definitely things you've heard before. I've never even played a BlazBlue game, but I know that these ones on Guilty Gear, they were sort of still carrying on the tradition of really beautifully animated two-dimensional fighting games when everybody switched over to 3D. Cool. I like that guitar though, actually. Alright, next up is another Final Fantasy 15. Valse di Fantastica. That just makes it sound so much more important, even though it means the Venus is fantastically pooping. Oh, this is a good one. This is nice. That's really nice. Oh, super memorable. And to me has a slight nod to the older Final Fantasies on the NES. Something that you could hear Uematsu coming up with the bones of, but then definitely going off into what I assume is Yoko Shimomura territory. Alright, what was I drinking back then? What was it? Some kind of bottle or something. Some stubby bottle. Alright, next up is Fire Emblem Fates Dark Wastes. Nice. If that's on a 3DS, that's some really impressive MIDI. Maybe the 3DS... I'm not truly aware. Would the 3DS have... There's still little cartridges, right? So for them to fit on recorded orchestra wouldn't be as likely, but I could be totally wrong. Sounds like a remaster to me, but I'm pretty impressed. I mean, just with the composition of it, not even depending on the quality of the instruments and stuff. Really good, really interesting. That's that sort of like foreign, exotic, like Moroccan market or something. What can the 3DS? 8 gigs? Okay, so with the game, I wonder what they put on. Very interesting. Because it sounds fantastic. This is a really good one. Oh. Yeah, 8 gigabytes is pretty good size. That is more than a DVD. I think a DVD can hold like 4.5 gigabytes. That seems wrong. I know, and a Blu-ray can hold what, 50? That's fantastic. That was really good. I wonder who composes that. Do you know anything else about it? Next up, 7th Dragon 3, CD1, 13, whatever that is. Really, really intense music. It's kind of music where they're trying to fit in so many notes at such a high tempo. Okay, I get it. Okay, alright. Okay, I'm playing, I'm listening. Crazy. And what did this one come out on? The 2016 version. This is the History of Video Games channel. What are they saying? Show more. Nope. They're just hot. They don't give me the, no timestamps. They just talk about how you can buy shirts and stuff. This, like, YouTube player that pops out. It's so awkward. Alright, that was pretty intense. I'm just trying to think, like, when you'd be playing that. When your 3DS riding in the train. Alright, next up. From The Last Guardian, an overture lore. Okay. Tim. There's a movie soundtrack that sounds a lot like this. Might be from Inception. Look at the slow reveal of this bird dog chicken. Bird dog cat chicken. Turkey. This reminds me of downloading certain pictures when I was a teen on dial-up internet. Ooh, it's loading. I'd like to play this game. I hope the thing doesn't die. Better have a damn good reason if it does. I didn't expect the death in Shadow of the Colossus. There's its bloody face. Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like you know, like Rockstar games, their games always control a little clumsy. Whoa, that was really, really nice. That was really, really nice. Really subtle. That's a good palette cleanser. I'm pumped to get through Eco and try Last Guardian. Stardew Valley. One guy made this whole game and kept redoing it over 5 years because he learned how to make music better or draw the portraits better. And he made all the music alongside the game. And the art. He's nice. What a bloody good track. You know, simple, but shows restraint. Fits the feel of the game. Yeah, one guy made this. Can you imagine the fear? You're 3.5 years in and you're thinking, or maybe 2 years in, and you go, I just put 2 years of my life into this. Is this gonna work? Is anyone gonna like this? Does anyone like Harvest Moon? I don't know. And it worked. And him learning along the way, and then 3 years, 4 years. I'm sure around like that last year was probably really coming together. He's just adding all the extra bits in. And then for it to come out and just be such a gigantic success. Probably, I would assume he's set for life if he's pretty smart with this. Wonderful. Yeah. I feel this music always feels a lot different to me than Animal Crossing music. It always has like a pretty steady, simple beat, which gives it a bit more of like childlike wonder, I think. It's not like more mature kind of ambient stuff. Oh yeah, the game is completely different. I love Stardew Valley. Everything you do in Stardew is a game. Giving gifts to people is a game because if you give them something they like, it's more effective. You give it to them on their birthday, it's more effective. Just love it. All right, what a nice track that was. Next up, Abzu Delphis. Wow, that's a really nice track. Very cinematic. Really nice use of like the strings and the orchestra. The piece moves a lot of different directions. Really feels like a nice, somber, watery adventure. Really nice. I mean, it fits really well in Abzu, but it could fit in for a lot of things too. Well, we don't really. Yeah, you're right. Eventually, we will run out of years because if we pick a year that's in the NES or even like the Genesis, it seems like it really causes a bunch of whining from some of you younger folks.
I don't know any. I'll have to sit it out. I couldn't possibly listen to something new. That's old.
I don't know. I have an itching to cover a Disaster Piece game would be really nice. And I know Fez came out in 2012. But yeah, we could pick something else other than that. Why have I written any notes on this? Did write down some ideas. Ba 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 ba. Yeah, mobile could work. What ideas do we have on here? Mario, Sonic, Blizzard, Indie, Zelda. So basically Nintendo franchises. Genesis, the Sega's best franchise, and then Indie. All right. I would go with mobile. I think it'd be a fun challenge. I'm always up for finding stuff that isn't in the normal rotation. This is a nice track, the Sabzi one. Not one I would have sought out. All right, next up, Ace Attorney, Phoenix Wright, Objection. The Ace Attorney music is so good. There's a lot of that stuff in Mobile Land. It's such a nice, like a shifty, kind of fun, funky, lots of energy. Has sort of like a Latin vibe with the rhythms. This kind of like syrupy 1970s theme. It's like a little bit campy and fun. You know what else is good for on the handhelds? The Gravity Rush soundtracks are unbelievable. You've got you got some Paper Mario on there, I think, and a whole bunch of good stuff. But yeah, no ports. That ain't gonna count. All right, we're gonna end off with Final Fantasy 15 Nvidia, a Yoko Shimomura track. All right, that was Final Fantasy 15. I had enough of more Stardew Valley to end off. All right, so next week's theme will be handheld, portable, mobile, no Switch, and the game had to originate on that system and not just be like a remaster. Like, let's cut out the Final Fantasy stuff, you know, the remakes of those old tracks. Just get some interesting stuff in there. If you can't think of anything and you can't go looking for it, then that's fine. Other people will step in. We only need 20, so it's the point of this is not to find an easy answer or a loophole. It's not a test. It's just to actually find some genuine music fitting that theme, to really celebrate it and perhaps bring some new music to people that are listening. Yeah, I know you like loopholes. There's a really cool loophole you should try with, like, make a noose. Have you ever heard of a noose? And you could put it around your head, loop that hole around your neck, and then tie it on a tree, and then jump off. You could do that. That's part of the fun for you, One Lich? I thought you were better than that. Not to be like,
No, technically, Breath of the Wild was on the Switch. No, the remake of Final Fantasy 2.
who cares? Well, like, we've heard so much of that stuff before.
I play PC games on my Nvidia Shield.
Good for you. The Wii U is not a handheld. No Wii U. 3DS. The 2DS. The DS. Game Boy. The whole Game Boy family. Phone games. PSP. Vita. You know. Yeah, Pokemon. That kind of stuff. Zelda games that originated on the handheld. There's so much, and we only need 20, so don't just fill it up with more, like... And also, like, we've heard so much Kingdom Hearts. It seems this is probably the one week you didn't have to listen to Kingdom Hearts. Which, they're always pretty good. There you go, yeah. What else is there? Yeah, in the spirit of it. Yeah, I know, it's really unfortunate. Alright, well, thanks everybody. I'm going to be reaching out to some composers and trying to get somebody on for an interview. I'm going to reach out to a guy who did this is such a great track. Who did the soundtrack to Shadowrun Dragonfall and the latest BattleTech game. And I've emailed him before, told him how much I liked his work, and he responded, and he's a pretty friendly guy, so who knows, maybe next week's episode might be an interview, and then we'll just push this theme to the next week. I would love to talk to Disaster Piece too, but that guy's pretty big time, so I don't know if he'd respond to a fellow like me. You know. I'll find whatever social media we have that has the largest amount of followers and go, hey, I think our Facebook has a few thousand. And our Instagram's actually pretty good too. Yeah, it should originate on the handheld. So I wouldn't count a remake and not a remake or a remaster from a console game. In this case, I think that there's more than enough out there, and this is a chance to hear some different stuff. Yeah, mobile. Handheld mobile. Yeah. Alright, we'll be back tomorrow with Eco. I'd like to finish that off. And then any other interesting games on PS Now. If a game came on handheld first and got ported, yeah, that's fine. Like Gravity Rush started on the Vita and was ported to the PS3 or 4. PS4, I think. It's a damn good soundtrack. Alright, I'm out of here. Be back tomorrow. Bye 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 bye.